What's up, guys? I'm back today. I'll give you guys a little brief update on what I've done so far, and then I'll focus on what we'll do today. So we have all the body panels on, the hood's on, the windshield on, all the doors, and I think I already said that. I meant to say all the windows are on as well. So yeah, so we got all the body panels on and all the glass on, so that's what it looks like. So it finally looks like a truck. And those are all the gauges I've got for now. We're gonna do more in the future. We're using the stock bezel. We just decided to do some 16 gauge steel inserts over the wood, so that way I could get the switches and gauges I wanted. So right now what I plan on working on is getting the interior all together. We're gonna do the transmission tunnel, the carpet, the door skins, you know, the bench seat, you know, everything to get the interior complete. So that's what I'm gonna work on next. So I drill holes into these brackets and I have them bolted in. So the idea is we're going to take the carpet and we're going to take the carpet and wrap it under this metal trim and bolt it down. We can't take it across the entire hump because, well, it's bigger than the factory and the carpet isn't big enough for it. So we're going to have to cut it in half and then sort of separate it down the middle. I don't think it's going to look too terrible, honestly. Worst case scenario, I can always buy more carpet in the future and put some in the middle and still have these two retainers. But yeah, here's what an OEM tunnel looks like. So I've been cutting out the carpet, trying to get it all fit in here, and I have these OEM trim pieces, and frankly, I just don't like them. They look terrible. They're super worn down, and they're super flimsy too. Like they're just, I don't like them. So I'm gonna build new ones out of 16 gauge steel, which is what I just cut out, and we're going to put the new trim piece right there. It's a bit wider, it's a bit longer. I think it's going to look way better and be more durable. So I'm going to drill out holes and then we're going to bend it so it's going to be more of like an L shape, like a angle iron almost. But yeah, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to install the door seal so that way we can install the carpet and then the retainer. The retainer can't go before the door seal, otherwise you can't get the door seal on. So yeah. All right, so we got the carpet all placed in here. It's all clamped down. It's not perfect. The contour doesn't match it perfectly, but I mean, it's carpet. Does it really matter? I also added the rear tray because, you know, storage. All right, there's a good view of the passenger side. Once again, here's a comparison of the stock trim piece to the new one that I added. Like I said before, the new one's a bit longer, it's a bit wider, but it's also a bit thicker, so it's a bit more durable. I'm gonna have to coat it eventually because obviously it'll rust with time, but for now I'll just keep an eye on it. And release! Alright. Oh man, that's hilarious. Never mind. Alrighty, so the bench seat's installed, and this is the shift lever I made a while ago. I'm gonna come out here to sort of show you where it ends at. Here, let's put the little ball on there. Let's see, I'm not exactly sure where I want this stick yet because I'm not exactly sure how this transmission shifts yet. So I'd rather leave it longer and then like cut it up later and re-weld it and whatnot. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it for now as like this and just put it on. So yeah, all right, so now we're just gonna slap this little rubber thing on here. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it. All right, so now that the interior is coming together, the next thing that I want to work on is the door skins. But there's some stuff I kind of want to do to the door skins. I don't really like how they look from the factory. I mean, they look fine from the factory, but I sort of want to go for a different look, to be honest. So this is the driver's side door, and there's this like carpet panel piece where the switches go and whatnot. I think I kind of want to do a metal piece instead and remove this old handle because, well, it's just kind of flimsy, and I kind of want to replace it with some stained wood instead. So, and then I'm not sure what I'll do down here. This normally is carpet, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just paint it. Maybe I'll do more metal. I don't know. We'll see on that. So, but for now, we're going to cut out more metal brackets for these and then drill some holes for it so it can bolt it in. And then we're going to put some wood there and stain it. And then we can install the door skins. Well, maybe, depending on what we do for that. I'm bolting each hole as I drill. I'm putting a bolt on each hole that I drill so that way it doesn't move on me. The last thing I want is to have to re-drill more holes to make the holes even bigger than they need to be, because we all know how strong ABS plastic from the 90s are, or is. I'm gonna drill this side first. All right. You know, honestly, not bad. All right, so I have both of my handles for my doors done, and I think it turned out pretty good, honestly, for just being, you know, 2x4s, which I know it's kind of lazy, but like, you know, I'm not gonna buy a big plank of wood or a big burl. So we're gonna finish them with mineral spirits and linseed oil, raw linseed oil. I did a 1-to-1 mixture. And then That'll be for our first coat. Our second coat will just be a straight raw linseed coat, and then the third one will be as well. And then we'll do some beeswax on top of it to coat it. So we're applying it pretty thick right now because we're gonna let it soak on the wood for a half hour or so, which we'll do our final wipe down just to get all of the dampness off so it'll actually cure properly. I just love how it transforms the wood. Such a big difference. And I mean, obviously it'll darken with time and when we do more coats. But it already just looks so much better. It really brings out the character. All right, so I've got some good news and I've got some, well, not so good news. So the good news is I replaced my window motor regulator, and that you have to drill 3 different holes into the panel in order to access the bolt holes. I have no idea how to get it off otherwise, so that's what I did. The problem is it wouldn't work upon initiating the switch. So when you go to roll up and down the window, it just make a and it'd just be spinning for no reason, doing nothing. So what you'd have to do instead is literally physically pick up the window by hand and put it up and down. I know 2 other first gen owners who had this issue. So I'm sure it's very common, honestly. I'm sure a lot of people have had this issue. So not very difficult to replace. The bad news is I was installing this switch, and when I was pulling it off, I dropped it, and well, as you can see, it's sort of broken. Luckily, they do sell replacement parts online. It's just a bit unfortunate because, well, it's a needless part to have to buy, but here we are. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the metal panels we've cut out earlier, because I'm going to cut holes for them so that way we can actually install the switches on there for this. So I've moved the brake pedal back. It's kind of tough to tell, but it used to be further up than the clutch pedal was. And honestly, it was an uncomfortable transition between the throttle and the brake pedal. So that's why I pushed it back some. So I finally got the door skins together, so now we can finally install the door skins onto the doors. I feel like this is the part that really just ties the whole interior together. Yeah. It feels like the handle is actually solid with the door. A while ago, a long time ago, when you'd pull the handle, it'd pull the door skin a little bit and then the door, which is terrible for the door skin for one, but also sometimes with these older trucks, they're a little tougher to close because something's not aligned or just because it's older, you know how it is. So yeah, it's solid. Now it's time to install the handle. Or the lever. Here's a closer look at the door skin. This switch is backwards. Alrighty then. I don't know how that works. So if I press up on the passenger side, the passenger window goes up. If I press down on the passenger side, it goes down. You can hear it right now. But if I press up on the driver's side, I don't know why it does that. I'm not gonna bother fixing it. It works, that's all that matters. I don't know if you knew before, but the window had to be manually pulled up and down by hand, and because it didn't have the motor to hold it in place, it would just fall down as you were driving on the road, especially on bumpy roads, which was just so annoying. But yeah, so I'm happy that this is all together now. This is, it looks, I don't even know how to describe it. It looks good. Here's a brief overview in the cab. So I still have work to do with the gauge bezel and whatnot because I still have some wiring left to do. But I'm going to do that later. I'm not going to do that in this video. So yeah, I think that's going to be about it for this. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.